Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No, my name is Mike Piwowarski. I am your co-host from the East Coast. That's the co-host with the most, from the coast with the most. Here on the Rundown, two of Views, Conservative News. Craig, how's this very special Taco Tuesday doing for you?
It is actually going phenomenal. Looking forward to this evening. I will be picking my wife up from the airport. She will be returning. She spent a couple of extra weeks in Fiji while I had to return to earn a living. But I will get to see my love this evening.
Blah blah blah. It's great to hear about your wife. Where's the song?
How about yourself, sir? How is your Taco Tuesday going so far?
It's going great because I love tacos.
As do I.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum. It's like
Yes, it is raining tacos, ladies and gentlemen. Always fun. Gotta love tacos. That is my favorite. Still, to this day, my favorite theme song that we use.
It is, and I was like, "Why are we talking about your wife? Let's have the taco song." It was just
Let's have the taco song.
And I appreciate the information about your wife. I like to know what's going on with you and your family, and it's great that she's going to be back with you. Is she bringing you tacos back?
No, not from Fiji. They don't have like Fiji tacos. I mean, there are tacos in Fiji. They're just not like Fiji like tacos. Well, I take that back because you can have them.
I don't understand. So they have them. Okay, they do have them.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
you were just confused on your taco.
Fish
facts.
or
Gotcha.
goat meat, wrapped in roti. More like a soft taco.
It's a taco.
Curry.
Yeah. There you go. All right. It's a Fiji taco. There you go. Good to go.
Fiji taco. I'm not complaining. Trust me.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, folks.
Well, that's
hey,
good to know.
however
I'm
you
glad
are
she's
partaking.
back.
What'd you say?
I said that's good to know, and I'm glad she's coming back to you, and that you guys will continue in your world of California bliss in the mudslides, wildfires, earthquakes, and criminal elements. So,
yeah, I think we're actually in like wildfire season. No mudslides. That'll be in about 5-6 months. We'll be dealing with the mudslides.
5-6 months. Gotcha.
There you go.
Yeah, under smog. I'm sorry, I forgot the smog as well.
Yes.
So.
Well, it's always smog season, but right now in particular,
Yes.
we're in wildfire season.
Yes.
Such is
Okay,
life
very
in
true.
California, and none of that. And by the way, all of that pales in comparison to the living under liberal dominion.
That's right. That's right.
That's a not so
It's
natural
really the only
disaster.
reason. That's right. It's really the only reason people live in California because they're like, we'll probably die in an earthquake tomorrow anyway. What's the big deal? You know?
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
hey, folks, however you are partaking of the program, please make it a point to encourage your friends to do the same. Let them know they can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, on OpsLens, on Spotify. You can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. So encourage them to do so. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Encourage your friends to do the same.
There you go.
All right, now we're going to get into today's stories. And starting from the very top, I don't think it's any mystery that, crime has gone up in many, many places throughout the country. In particular, in many of our larger cities, crime has gone through the roof. And there's a new list out of emerging capitals of crime. That's right, crime capitals in the United States of America. These are the highest number of these are cities with the highest number of murders. And once again, this is not just murder, but I mean just crime in general. It's gone up, but murders in particular are what they're looking at here. And they're looking at cities like New Orleans, Baltimore, Birmingham, St. Louis, and Milwaukee. And you go down in the story here. And here it is. You have the list. Now, these are once again from crime statistics. These are all the cities how many murders that they've had, and then what that rate works out to per 100,000 people. And there's something that is distinct, that is very, very notable, very obvious when you look at all of these cities. And even if they are in a conservative state, they tend to be Democrat-run cities. Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. And Craig, please ask you to pronounce it correctly. It's murder. That's
Murder.
forgot to say
Okay.
it that way.
Okay.
Murder. And so, yeah, it's no surprise, right, Craig? You heard about this story, you see the title for the story, and there's not even 1 ounce of concern that it's going to be a conservative city. You know ahead of time. You're like, oh, okay. Well, let's see what order the blue cities are in. You know there's not going to be a red city in this when you hear about the story. And sure enough, you look at it and go right down the line, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that one is in a red state, but that's the blue city we always have problems with. You know, it's absolutely every one of these a Democrat-run city.
Well, and as you read through the story, and once again, the story is over at Fox News. When you read through the story and they talk to law enforcement, basically what they're pointing out is most of these are cities that have liberal-leaning district attorneys. They're either cities or in states that have very, very loose bail policies. Basically, they're all cities that have people who are quote unquote leaders that are quote unquote smart on crime, meaning they decriminalize crime and let criminals out on the street.
Smart on murder.
Yes, they are. They are pro-business, pro-crime business is what they are.
Yes, right. Exactly right. Yeah. It's like I said, it's not even close. Let's read the top 5 cities off. Hey, let's go back to that. Let me read these top 5 cities off for folks. For those that are sitting at home and didn't get a chance to read our graphic here.
Oh, there you go.
These are in order. Now,
yes.
You know what? We gotta go 5 to 1, right? We want to.
Okay,
for those that can't read, we want to
go 5.
Number 5. Keep them in suspenders.
Right.
Yeah. Number 5.
That would be Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, which is actually an old Indian name that means by the river.
By the river, exactly.
Yeah.
Number 4. Why don't you go ahead and name number 4?
Number 4,
St. Louis.
St. Louis, which is an old Indian name for St. Louis.
Right.
Yeah, St. Louis.
Number 3 is Birmingham. Now, this is in the very conservative state of Alabama, but once again, it is the liberal city in a very conservative state.
It's the prime example. Again, prime example. Look at what we've just talked about. You know, so we know that Missouri is a very conservative state, but we've seen what's come out of St. Louis. Everything from the Michael Brown, shooting with out of Ferguson, with the McCloskeys. Everything that's come out of St. Louis has been, extremely liberal. We saw the state attorney there be charged, right? Because of her policies. Then you go to Birmingham, Alabama, same thing. We know that state has recently taken up, has become a conservative capital for firearms. They are now an open carry state, yet the mayor there in Birmingham decided that guns were bad, so they were going to ban guns during any event possible, and they had to be reschooled on what constitutional carry was, and they lost that case. So you still have a Democrat city in the Republican stronghold trying to fight the new laws. I'm sorry, go ahead. That's number 3. Go ahead.
Number 2, and this one is actually of no surprise, Baltimore, Maryland.
The crap hole. Yeah.
The crap. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yep. And number 1 at a rate of 36.8. So this means 36.8 people per 100,000 are murdered. That would be New Orleans, Louisiana. Nolans.
Again, a giant. We know the state of Louisiana sits red, yet the city of New Orleans is blue because of the Jim Crow style politics that have always been there to oppress the majority of minorities that live in the city from having firearms.
And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, Chicago is on the list. Now, they're near the bottom of the top 20. So at 304 murders, it still only, though, works out to 11.3 people per 100,000. That just means there's a lot of people in Chi-town, in Chirac.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's the difference, right?
Yeah. Oakland, California
So,
also made
so
the
good
list, but they
numbers.
only have
Good
54.
story, Craig. Good story.
Yes, Philadelphia also on the
There you go.
list with
Oakland.
240 murders. So, in terms of sheer numbers, Philadelphia and Chicago are at the top of the list. I really want to see where Los Angeles is in terms of the actual just sheer numbers. And by the way, these are all cities with 200,000 plus residents in them. So these are all big cities. Funny how that
Just for funny your comparison year to date. I don't know what they're looking at for year to date in Chicago so far. Craig is 371 shot and killed, a total of 2,051 shot. So
wow. Okay, so this
371,
304 number was like as of June. So in other words, it was a very, very busy July.
Yeah, let's see. Summer of joy. So far over the summer in Chicago, it's been 151 shot and killed since June 1st.
There you go. That is sad.
Yep.
Moving along, one of the ways in which liberals or anti-gunners have decided that they want to try and address violence involving firearms is through gun buybacks. Now, you know our position on gun buybacks. Even people who are anti-gun acknowledge that gun buybacks do not work. They absolutely, positively do not work. They've never done anything. There's absolutely no evidence that they've done anything to reduce crime, to reduce violence, or to reduce violence involving firearms. Yet and still, police, politicians, they still continue to host these quote-unquote gun buybacks. Well, there was a gun buyback that took place in the city of Houston, and they are being, viciously mocked, the people who put this on, because, they had a gun buyback, and they basically paid one person $3,000 for a box full of ghost guns. And let me show you the box of ghost guns that they have here. Now, if you read this, it basically says a big shout out to whoever it was who turned in 62 3D printed guns for $150 each at the Houston gun buyback. Now, mind you, Mike, how much do you think they spent per 3D printed gun in order to get their to get what would amount to about $3,000?
It's based on the material, so it's probably somewhere around $25, $35 worth of the printable material.
Right. So $25, $30. I mean, I would guess that they probably more than paid for their 3D printer with in the material with this one gun buyback. And so now,
listen, 3D printers, you're actually down to reliable 3D printers for like $300 now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, so I might be going to get me a 3D printer.
Oh yeah, it's gun buyback time, baby.
So now they're actually looking at changing their policy, and Mike, you and I both know. I mean, this is we know that these are basically famous for basically collecting broken down junk guns, but now they're getting 3D printed guns, and they're basically just handing out money now at this point.
Yeah. Listen, folks, no matter how this works out, whether this is, like you get them on the East Coast where the district attorney and the police department and the city governments, they sponsor this. That's wasted tax dollar money. Or you see others where you get, everybody's donating their time. Well, let me let you know something. Even if the police come out and donate their time, it's still money out of your pocket. Somebody's still paying for their insurance. Somebody's still paying for their equipment usage fees. Somebody's still paying for their liability to be there. They ain't working for free. And even if they are, they still have to be covered for insurance and liability while they're there. So it's not free. It's still out of your pocket. And these don't work. These are crap guns that get turned in. Nobody's turning in. Well, let's see. It's amnesty. I'm going to use this firearm and then turn it in. What happens more than likely, Craig, if they go right now and they look back at the statistics of firearms used in crimes or stolen over the past 3-4 weeks, they'll find there was an increase. Once an announcement's been made about the amnesty you'll get for turning in a firearm on a gun buyback, people go out and start breaking into cars and houses and stealing guns so they can go they can go get money for them. So you get an increase in crime always every time before a gun buyback. So all you're doing is driving crime. You're creating more crimes involving firearms at every gun buyback.
Well, and it's because once again, how liberals tend to govern is they don't govern based on what people will actually do. They govern based on what they want people to do. And the problem is that you don't stop to think what will people actually do? By the way, the best way in which to predict that is take a look at history and look what happens every time you do this. And that's what happens. People go and they steal guns, and then they turn the guns in. And if people would just look at actually what is happening, you will then know, probably the best thing to do is to not do these.
It's nice to see though, like what happened in Houston. You got somebody that's using a little ingenuity. I know a group in New Jersey that made some pseudo assault style weapons and turned them in to get some money to raise for their charity. So it's nice to see people taking advantage of the idiots in the gun control community.
Oh yeah. If you're going to be stupid and hold something like this, we are going to take advantage of you. And there's also the firearms retailers that actually go to these and look at and actually are able to pick up a few gems, give people more money than they were going to get from the gun buyback.
Now, listen, if you're a smart city and you want to do this, listen, you take these firearms and then you give them to a dealer, let the dealer clean them up, and they'll sell them back to people with a background check, right? Because the background check is the solve-all for crimes. But most dealers that I know throughout the year, when a piece of garbage walks in, they go, "Oh, I'll give you $10 or $20 for it," and they put it in a barrel, a trash bin, and wait for these gun buybacks to come around, and they go turn them into there because you're allowed to dispose of your firearms by giving them to the police department when you're a dealer. So
there you go.
That's how they make a couple extra bucks a year is through gun buybacks and idiots. So thank you for being an idiot and hosting a gun buyback.
There you go. Idiots. I like that. Talk about idiots. Georgia. So in Atlanta, there's this concert. It's called the Music Midtown. So it's supposedly a pretty big concert that takes place there in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, they've decided that they are going to pull the concert because of Georgia gun laws. Now, what they're saying is, Mike, is that because it is because it's a constitutional carry state now, even in public parks, unless you are a permanent business, right? If you're a permanent business, then you can say no guns allowed. But if you are temporarily leasing a public space like a park, you are not allowed, or you're not allowed to prohibit people from possessing firearms at your particular venue. So because of that, they are canceling their concert because they don't want to assume the liability.
Yes. And let's make sure they understand what the liability is, Craig. The liability is that we can't provide security to everyone because if I say you can't have your guns, then I must provide security for everyone. As opposed to if I just let the law stand and let everybody carry their own firearms, what's the liability? Hey, security's on you. There you go. This state says you can carry your own gun. You're responsible for your own security. How about that? How about them apples? No, but they want to interpret it as all guns are bad. If I let guns into the event, that means gangbangers can bring AK-47s legally. That's what they're saying to you. They expect you to be an idiot, and I can't ban guns, so thereby all illegal guns must be legal now. No, you morons, stop where you are. You're polluting this. You're trying to change the narrative once again. The reason they have constitutional carry in that state is because it gives the ability of rights and people to carry their own firearm.
Right.
And when they do, they're much safer for it. But because you're anti-gun, you've decided to say, "Oh, I can't control it, so it's going to make it a more dangerous place." I'm glad the concert's not happening. I'm glad you're an idiot, and I'm glad you canceled the concert because we don't need your kind in the great state of Georgia, where they figured out how to protect themselves.
Right. You're too stupid to be doing a concert. So, I mean, it is a clear misinterpretation of the law, is what it comes down to. And they're deciding, and it's by the way, it's intentional. They're looking for a reason to come down the laws, but guess what? The laws are not going to change.
Yeah. And here's what they were talking about too, and they're talking about the this legal area, which is not a legal area, or not a gray area, by the way.
Right.
They had a case there with the botanical gardens, right? Well, the botanical gardens is hosted and maintained by a privately funded group, if I recall the facts correctly. But the grounds and the property themselves belong to the city and the city or the state.
Right.
So that was your gray area. If it's government controlled, you can't ban firearms there. Now, some private businesses can ban firearms, right?
Right.
But this is not a private business. This is public grounds. So they went to court and they got told, sorry, you can't ban firearms from it. It's public grounds. I'll give you the next one that's being looked at right now, Craig, and they're arguing this point, and hopefully we'll have an answer soon because it'll be nice to know. Where the football team plays, where the Falcons play. That's okay. At Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Guess who half funded that stadium?
Oh, the taxpayers.
It's a taxpayer public funded stadium. Now, the team is paid, Mercedes-Benz is paid, the sponsorship is paid, but there is a percentage of that piece of property that is government property and government funded.
Right.
So right now they're looking at telling them, you can't ban firearms from here.
Well, one of the things though that they may say is that if as a permanent long-term tenant, the argument is that they may be allowed to do that, as opposed to if they were just like, a concert that was just coming in to do it. So that may or may not wind up being the case.
Well, and that's the difference in the Botanical Gardens case. That's why the Botanical Gardens case may apply to the football team, because they got told, sorry about your luck.
Right.
So now, folks, don't go to the football game carrying a gun right now. That's not what Craig and I are saying.
No.
We're saying that's one that's currently being looked at by our friends over there at Georgia Carey, the same way they just won the Botanical Gardens case. So stay tuned for more. Until then, obey all laws.
Yes, please obey all laws.
Yes.
All right, moving right along. Geico, the company Geico with the gecko. Yeah, they're looks like they are leaving the state of California. That's right. Geico is going to be laying off all of their employees, all of their agents and whatnot in the state of California. They're going to be laying them off. So you're still going to be able to buy a policy or still going to be able to have insurance in California by Geico. But you're not going to be able to talk to anyone in person or any more in-person agents in the state of California. And they didn't really say, Mike, why they're leaving California, but I'm going to guess that it is in no small part has to do with California's labor laws and how expensive it is to actually be in the state of California.
Craig, when you and I were looking at this story, I think we both gave it the thumbs up because we're predicting that that's exactly what this is going to be. The reason for this is going to be another one of the whole either got woke, went broke, or it's too expensive. California's policies, California's laws. This story is going to turn into one of those reasons that we point to California and go, you get your head out of your ass. You're losing every day. And here again, you just lost a major corporation. They've decided to leave, but it's for undisclosed reasons, right, Craig? We're not going to say publicly because, well, first off, we want to keep selling insurance in your state, so we're not going to drop a hurt bomb on you before we leave. But I guarantee you that it's going to come out shortly, next couple weeks, months. That's the reason, and we're going to be able to, Craig and I are going to be able to come back on and go, there you go, told you so.
Well, and the thing that's frustrating is you would think that California's policymakers would get it. I mean, how many businesses have to leave? And I'm not just talking about like conservative business. I'm talking about, woke corporations like Levi Strauss, Wells Fargo. Yeah. I mean, they're moving their national headquarters or their international headquarters out of the state of California to states like Florida, to states like Texas and Nashville, Tennessee, to Tennessee. There's a reason why they're doing it. And California's response, Gavin Newsom's response is, well, hey, we'll make it easier for your employees to get abortions. we'll make it easier for you to transition your children from one gender to another. And that's the reason why you should put your business in California. I'm like, do you have any idea what it takes?
Yeah.
I mean, I think how stupid that is.
Yeah.
And chances are
California's policies are literally things like their policies are stuff like stay in California, you can get cancer easier. You know, it's just like that's not an incentive. You people don't know what an incentive is.
Here in California, we recognize that all white people are racist oppressors. So that's the reason why you should keep your business in California.
There you go. Stay in California. Become a racist. What?
I fail to understand. I just fail to. It's like these people have no idea. And you go through members of the legislature and you realize how few of the members of the majority party have ever run a business, have ever owned a business. They have no idea what it takes to be successful. Most of them are community organizers, union organizers, leftists. It is amazing the sheer and utter lack of real world knowledge and understanding. And so for many of them, they don't know. And for many of them, they don't care. But that's the majority party in the state of California.
That's it. That's what you get. That's what you get. You know,
you get what you
get woke around you all day long. Yep.
Okay, folks. So hey, we had two parting shots for you. The first one was we actually already showed it to you. That was the box O Ghost Guns. Just once again, sheer and utter idiocy. They got about $3,000 for this box of Ghost Guns, and so now, and the funny part is, if you read the article that this came from, literally the person's still pointing out, oh yeah, Ghost Guns are dangerous. Ghost Guns are dangerous, so they need to be gotten off the street. Complete and utter idiot. But hey, someone got $3,000. I ain't mad at him. And
what a maroon.
What a maroon. And then, by the way, one of the real cool things about living in California is dealing with tolerant liberals, because they are all over the place. In fact, in California, you are not judged as whether or not you are a moderate or a conservative, or a moderate or a liberal or a progressive. It's not based on your policies. It's all based on how mean are you to conservatives. So if you are nice to conservatives, meaning, you aren't just
we don't like
bitchy at them, right? Then you are considered a moderate, regardless of how you vote. But this is the experience that most of us have with tolerant liberals. Basically, their attitude is, you agree with me or else you're racist, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, xenophobic, inbred, redneck, Bible thumping, NASCAR loving, gun toting, American loving bigots. And that is what tolerant liberals think of people who disagree with them.
That's her.
Yes.
That's her, all right. Yeah.
That is her. Karen. Liberal Karen.
That's crazy Karen. Yeah, that's
crazy
Karen
liberal, liberal Karen. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mike, it looks like we've hit that moment in the show where it's time to give a shout out to our sponsors.
Time to go. Here we go. Let's say hello to our good friends at uscombatgear.com. Our good friends at the California Republican Assembly, Guerrilla Machining, and Grid Defense. Defense.
Yeah, as we tell you, folks, look, the links to their websites are in the description to this video or this podcast. Please take a moment, visit them. If you like what you see, spend a little money with them, and remember to tell them that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. With that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it a day. I'm going to go get my woman, and we will talk to you tomorrow on Hump Day.
Tomorrow.